great question for you about code.
Mm.
So, a few years ago, if you were having a slow day on Twitter or LinkedIn, all you had to do was go and write the phrase or the question, should designers learn to code? And you would have a basic turd storm for the rest of the day. One of the questions that started to come up recently is around, is a design system primarily going to be based on the code, or is it going to be based on the design, or should it be based on the documentation? We've touched on this before, but we're seeing a lot more code-based solutions and even Figma adding dev mode. Where are we headed? Where's the puck going in terms of what's that code relevance to the design system?
Yeah, it's an interesting time, and even some things that you mentioned there, I think, point at different tensions or things pulling in a little bit different direction. So I think collectively, there seems to be a growing appreciation for the need to move more of production closer to code, right? The end user experience, no one's interacting with your Figma files, right? No end users, right? You're shipping code, so I think there is an appreciation for that. You see a lot more than you did 5 years ago, designers saying, hey, if you don't know at least code, what are you doing, right? Because it has been a strange discipline for 20 years. Digital design, often it feels like the output from design is the end product, and it is not, right? It is the intent, but it still needs to be made in a whole different medium, right? We're not printing posters anymore, right? So I think there's that appreciation has continued to grow. We've seen it in some tools like beyond just dev mode, like Framer, that are helping teams get closer to designing with code, even if they're not sort of the dominant tools in the market. So that's I think a great sign of maturity in collectively how we build products, right? And it's frankly aligning it more to other design and engineering disciplines, whether it's architecture, et cetera. So there's that side, but also then Figma is doing more to provide value to engineers and to make the process of going from design to code more streamlined and reliable. At the same time, Figma is a big enterprise that is running out of designers to sell to, because they've done an amazing job capturing that market. And so there's, they also want to bring engineers into design, which is a little bit of the other way pulling, saying, it's still very based in what we're creating here. Even if we're kind of trying to make the design process get to code easier, we're bringing things upstream instead of moving things downstream to code. So I don't know where we're headed. We certainly have our opinions. We are a tool that, a knapsack that believes in bringing everyone together around the critical engineering workflows, right? Doesn't always have to feel daunting to do that, but your doc should show what's actually in product, right? Not the aspiration of it. So I'll be really interested to see where things go, right? Figma's got a lot of power, a lot of influence, a lot of great tools. We also see the biggest gains coming from teams that are doing less design because they don't need to design everything, right? So it'll be interesting to see where things go in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I'm interested because the red herring, of course, is that this is a conversation about either design or code or documentation or some version of that, and it's not, right? It's always going to be a collection of things, and that's where Knapsack has always put their first principle goals is, can we bring people together to do the things that they need to do to ship a better product?
Right. Yeah, and there's a lot of exciting things happening, especially with AI. I mean, I think quality of generated stuff is improving faster than most folks, at least certainly I expected. I was just talking to a friend of ours who's built something that we've preached this idea of the spec is the source of truth and everything else is an implementation. I've seen some cool things where you define a spec and you've got your Figma and React components and all based on that, right? And so there's going to continue to be just mind-blowing changes there, but it ultimately getting to the value in shipping products faster, better quality products, right, more accessible. It's still a human process, right? And how do we align humans throughout the process so expectations are aligned, we can be efficient with our time, and we can ship really good experiences effectively and efficiently.